Consider this our obligatory Maller monologue on the life and times of Odell Beckham. And despite not playing a single game this NFL season, OBJ continues to be on the tip of our tongue as he was about to walk into the Lions' den, or Jerry's world, and sign a contract, the very unique free agent receiver. Bohemian would be a term. He is continuing his global tour as he looks for employment here around the boondocks of the NFL. And he has been given a dramatic setback, a very large boulder on the road. Now, if you have not heard yet, maybe not, maybe you have avoided this. While OBJ was lining up a gold brick, he was given a traditional red brick, which he was not looking for. We've learned that Odell Beckham has failed his physical with the Cowboys. It's been whispered in not-so-hushed tones that Dallas brass very concerned about whether or not OBJ will be able to play at all this season. And much like we talked about earlier in the show about Jimmy Garoppolo and the fact that Garoppolo is likely not going to be able to be available till mid-January, well, it appears the same situation is upon us with Beckham. So he's not likely to be available till the second or third round of the playoffs. At least that's the reporting. So the Cowboys are now thinking they will not be able to have Beckham. If they bring him in at all to a contract, he won't be able to play until 2023. Now, Jerry Jones went on his paid radio spot in Dallas and said that he is not confident at all about signing a player coming off a major injury without seeing them work out, which makes sense. People like to goof on Jerry, but that makes sense. Why would you buy a car without test driving it? If it made your purchase, you want to make sure you're making the right purchase. So Beckham, again, the big headline here, not cleared to play, and the medical report was upside down. So he's looking for greener pastures right now, and at least according to the people around the Cowboys, it's not quite working out right there. They're not really happy. So let's get into it. We will discuss. And the question on this one, did the Cowboys break ranks by leaking the dirt on Odell Beckham Jr.? Did they break ranks? Now, that's the popular story going around by the insider crowd. I am shaking my head no. All right, I'm shaking my head no. I've got Snow Globe, Yogi, and Mating Dance. And we will put all of these together and we will spring up like mushrooms. All right, so number one. Number one. So excited I hit my mic. All right, so number one, Jerry Jones, who is under siege by some NFL pundits. This one blows me away. And I want you to tell me if I'm wrong on this, but there's people in the media that are very upset with the Cowboys because they are the ones that are leaking the dirt on Odell Beckham's health. And the theory is that the Cowboys have violated the bubble of trust, that neither the Giants or Buffalo leaked anything about Beckham and his medical status. And the chances are if Beckham failed the physical with the Cowboys, that he had that same sinking feeling with the Giants and the Bills. Therefore, Dallas should be ashamed. They should put their tail between their legs and walk off the stage. How dare you? How dare you? Now, that sounds good, I guess, to some, but I disagree. Anyone in the media business upset by this story, by the Beckham story getting out, is a nitwit. All right? They're a dum-dum. We are in the business of information, we talk about sports here. It's our little world. You say it's dopey, say whatever you want, but we are dependent on this kind of information. And the way I look at it, there's no false advertising here. When you do business with the Cowboys, for better or worse, you know going in what you're getting into. When you play for the Dallas Cowboys or even audition for a job with the Cowboys, you are living in a snow globe. You are under a heavy glass dome. And as a result, people can see everything. There are no secrets. It's all about public consumption. Any publicity is good publicity, as the old line goes from Jerry Jones. All right, now, page 2. How much stock do you put into the report, which is implying that OBJ's health is all messed up, and that's why we're in the situation we're in. So I am buying a large number of stock options on the reports of OBJ's health. I totally buy it. It makes sense. It's logical. Before the season started, and I got no life. I pay attention to this stuff. We talk about it a lot on the show, and so I keep some notes. Before the season, when training camp came around, do you remember what the story was? It's like, just hold on. Beckham, according to his camp, his posse there, they were mumbling that OBJ, everything was on track, looking great, working out really well, but he wouldn't be ready until Halloween. Okay, fine. So trick or treat. Then they updated the story. They said, wait a minute. Well, he's going to need a little more time to get the green light. How about Thanksgiving? Okay, pass the stuffing. We're good. And then they said, whoa. Time out on the Thanksgiving. Put the cranberry sauce down. So now it's going to be Christmas. Now it'll be Christmas. And already it's bah humbug. It's not. How about, you know what? Martin Luther King, great human being right back in his. How about Martin Luther King weekend? How about that? I have a dream. Yeah, you get the drift. So they just keep pushing it back, push it back. That's what they do. And as Yogi Berra was credited with saying, although he likely never actually said it, it gets late early around here. Now, last regular season, when Beckham was playing for the Rams, and he came in from Cleveland late in the year, and he played in the postseason, right? And all that. But if he didn't get hurt until mid-February when the Super Bowl took place against Cincinnati. And now, if you look at the Cowboys' schedule as they head out into the Serengeti of the late season and the postseason schedule, the last regular season games are going to be played January 8th. The Cowboys are going to be a wild card team, barring a tremendous gag by the Birds from Philly. Outside of that, the Cowboys will have to play their first playoff game January 14th. So it's hard to haggle with Odell Beckham not being available. He hasn't been cleared to play, and if you look at the dashboard, the check engine light is a flashing. And keep in mind, the standards for passing an NFL physical are fairly arbitrary. And we've talked about this in the past, but if they want you, they will bring in Dr. Nick Riviera from The Simpsons. Homer Simpson's doctor there, Nick Riviera, and you will get approved. If they don't want you, if things are not running smoothly and they say they don't want you, the NFL has a rich history of using the failed physical to get out of having to sign a player or trade for a player. It's a great excuse. Well, we wanted the player, but he didn't pass the physical. Sorry. All you Cowboy fans that were chanting, OBJ. Yeah, well, you shouldn't have gone to a Maverick game. Got to eat some humble pie. Your guy's not healthy. Now, I mentioned Jerry Jones and his radio appearance, and Jerry talked about having a player who's not healthy. We actually have a little audio clip here. Do we have the audio? Let's go to the audio tape. Here's Jerry Jones, just to prove I was not lying. Jerry petrified at the thought of the injured player.
Jerry, have you ever signed a player in an instance like this, a player coming off an injury that you didn't see work out?
Oh, yes, I sure have. The classic for me is really Alonzo Highsmith. And Alonzo Highsmith was so highly thought of, particularly by our young coaching staff. And I had still have them. I had 3 letters handed to me by 3 different doctors that said, Jerry, this is bone on bone. He can't play. This won't work. And I went ahead and signed him. We had those Herschel Walker draft picks, and we made that trade, and he never touched the field.
Yeah. Although it has also where Dak Prescott got paid a lot of money and he broke his leg. He was all mangled a couple years ago, and I believe Gallup was hurt also when he got a contract. So it does cut both ways. All right, final point. Will OBJ go unsigned? Have we wasted hours of valuable overnight talk radio time talking about a player who won't even touch the field this season? So at this part of the story, I go no, that he will not go unsigned, that he will sign a contract, that Beckham will be ending up on an NFL roster. And it still could be the Cowboys. It's clear that this is moving like pond water right now. But I'm a big believer in the old Carney line that there's a sucker born every day. And as Jerry just referenced, a player from back in the Bronze Age that he wanted and he was injured and he signed the guy and it didn't work out. This whirlwind free agent mating dance has not resulted in anyone consummating the relationship yet. But all it takes is one sucker. All it takes is one. And Odell's very good at playing footsie in the courtship, and he loved the rhythmic chanting, and he was soaking it all in there, hogging the spotlight and teasing and all that. He loves the curiosity of it all. But he hasn't been able to sign on the dotted line. Right? That's the most important thing. We know that. And so Beckham being wined and dined, but nobody's holding him hostage. Right? Nobody's like, oh, you can't leave. We've got to get you signed. And you hear that when a player is going really well. Like, you know, we didn't want him to leave. You know, the Cowboys, Giants, and Bills were like, okay, we'll call you. Don't call us. We're good. We're okay. But even with that, as he continues, Beckham, to collect dust, it tells you he's either really mangled or he just wants too much money or it's a little bit of both. But since the money thing is really irrelevant, we are salary cap truthers, meaning that we know you can always cook the books. It's got to be health related, but I still say despite a hitch in his giddy up, someone is going to flinch. And it will likely be Buffalo or the Giants or the Cowboys, one of those three teams with a mystery team as a possibility. But all it takes is one. That's it. All it takes is one. And people are making a big deal. Baker Mayfield as an example. They said only one team claimed Baker Mayfield. Well, guess what? That's the only team that matters, the Rams, because you only play for one team at a time, dummy. You can only play with one team at a time. So someone will dine with the devil, and they will make a deal with Odell Beckham. I don't care what the medical charts look like. They'll sign the guy. I'll bet you. I'm betting you right now.